What's up and welcome back, Treyreactstoo families. I'm bringing y'all a special video today recommended by YouTube from a channel known as TjloveFights, as the title of his video is called How Francis Ngannou Proved Us Wrong. So without further ado, family, please don't forget to like, comment, as well as subscribe and turn on the post notifications bell so you never miss another upload, hear my voice and see my face. But I'm about to go big screen and we about to get straight to it. And again, shout out to TjloveFights.
Ngannou signed to the PFL. So what now? Francis Ngannou has finally dropped the announcement we've all been waiting for with his announcement of his signing to the PFL. This comes after months of uncertainty and criticism for Francis after his leaving from the UFC, with many, including myself, saying that he fumbled the bag. For those who don't know,
I don't think he really fumbled the bag though.
Back in January of this year, Francis Ngannou was reportedly offered an $8 million contract, and in the words of Dana White, the biggest heavyweight contract in UFC history. This would have also included a super fight with Jon Jones, which would have easily raked in over 1 million pay-per-view buys. Despite this, Francis Ngannou did not resign his contract, citing that it wasn't just about money, but it was instead because of a whole slew of other reasons. A couple of these reasons included his demands for better fighters' rights, including health insurance for all fighters not being met. He also couldn't escape the champ clause, which is a clause that re-signs champions to the UFC right after they defend their belt. And finally, he could not get a guarantee from the UFC that they would help or even allow Francis Ngannou to have a boxing match outside of the promotion. So with those reasons, Francis would leave the promotion.
He did explain it in a YouTube
nothing
video.
really lined up
I want to say his
afterwards.
YouTube channel.
Even though Francis was big on getting a super fight against Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, and there were reports that they were meeting, I don't think anything actually materialized from these meetings. Outside of the boxing world, the CEO of One Championship also reported that Francis Ngannou and him were not aligned on non-financial terms, and because of this, the talks were off. The CEO of One said on Twitter that an unconfirmed $20 million for 2 fights was going to be planned, but when Francis was asking for way too much demands that were unrelated to money, the deal was off. Knowing what we know now, Francis was probably asking for a lot of influence in the promotion, and like Dana,
it could have helped
CEO
out
of One probably tried to
regardless.
trade these demands for more money instead.
Like I said, that could have helped that promotion out big time had they went about it, but depending on, you know, what he was asking other than the money aspect, I mean, I don't blame that promotion for dropping them, but I'm about to skip this ad, TjloveFights, and get straight back to the video.
YouTube is the new home of
Alright,
NFL
well, we got another ad.
Watch all your favorite NFL teams out of market.
Also at Bare Knuckle, a deal fell through when Francis was just simply asking for way too much money. With all this news about Francis asking for way too much money and no real boxing deal being made, many fans thought that Francis had fumbled the bag with the UFC, and in hindsight, a super fight with Jon Jones and $8 million didn't seem that bad. Well, here we are now. Francis signed a huge deal with the PFL and proved everybody wrong. So finally, let's get into the major point of the deal.
YouTube, when he first left UFC, was
Francis is going to
definitely
make a high 7-figure contract,
something
meaning
special,
he's going to be in the
something
ballpark
different.
of just under $10 million for the next 2 or 3 fights. This is obviously great for Francis as he stepped away from similar money in the UFC and is probably going to make around $8 million. And what's also pretty crazy is that Francis was able to negotiate a guarantee for his opponent to make $2 million. He will also be able to get sponsors unlike fighters in the UFC after the Reebok deal. And finally, Francis will be fighting in the super fight division in the PFL, which is more similar to boxing in its revenue split. Fighters will share 50% of the revenue instead of the UFC's usual 16 to 20%. So all in all, Francis proved us wrong in terms of money. Another big one is that the PFL will allow Francis to box, so the door is still open for a super fight against Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury.
I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see
Francis
those.
was able to gain a lot of power,
even though Fury and Wilder probably
Francis
is not
in
gonna be
this deal was
close
also
with
able to negotiate a spot in the PFL's
just for the
global
name's
athlete
sake,
advisory
it'd be
board,
good.
which means he has a say on how the PFL expands globally, a say on the recruitment process, and overall is a representative of fighters for the PFL. Additionally, Francis is an equity owner and chairman of the new PFL Africa League, essentially a minor league within the PFL where the champions there can move on to fight on the PFL global scale. In summary, I do think Francis really did get everything he wanted and proved most of us wrong. So the whole time we've been talking about Francis and how this move is good for him.
Professional Fighters League is on the come up, especially with Jake
this is
Paul,
by far the biggest signing in their history and probably of all
Diaz
combat
fight
sports.
that's coming up
Taking
soon.
the UFC's former heavyweight
I
champion
don't know if it's
at
on
his
that
height
specific
and giving him
pay-per-view, but I just
practically
know that's
everything
in
he asked
talks.
for is a huge move, but equally a huge risk. See, they gave Francis by far the most money out of all of their fighters. For example, Anthony Pettis, who was the highest PFL earner before Francis, was only making $750,000. Famously, the prize to win the entire PFL tournament is $1 million. So for Francis to possibly be making somewhere around 7, 8, or 9 times the prize of the entire tournament, guaranteed, is insane. Now, I don't know how much the PFL made last year. This estimation that I found online says they make around $22 million a year, meaning Francis's $8 million-ish would be about 36% or over 1/3 of the revenue. The real number could be more or less, but I'm sure that Francis will be getting paid a really good portion of the total revenue. Now, I know the vast majority of the PFL's funds are not coming from strictly revenue right now, given that the PFL is one of the fastest growing MMA promotions and in general is just really brand new. A majority of their money currently is coming from investors and not quite ticket sales and pay-per-view buys. Several big-time investors include Alex Rodriguez, Ray Lewis, and Wiz Khalifa. They're all banking on the PFL being the next big thing. But if my one business class in college taught me anything, it's that the growth stage of a company's life cycle is by far the most important stage and can make or break a company. So like I said before, since a majority of the PFL's cash right now is coming from investors, and unlike revenue isn't guaranteed to come every year, they need to use this capital correctly in order to generate more annual revenue and become self-sustainable. Going back to
well, if y'all want to see the rest of TJ Loves Fights video, it's going to be linked down in the description down below. But please, family, don't forget to like, comment, as well as subscribe, and turn on your post notifications bell so you never miss another upload, hear my voice, and see my face. And if you want to send me videos to react to and or music to react to, send to my reaction page right here at trey.reacts. And if you want to be my friend and be my mutual on my main page, because I show love and support to people who show love and support to me right back, follow me on my main page right here at Trey vs. Dre 30. And tap in with me on my TikTok page because I am on the road to 10K, family. My TikTok page is going to be kind of kitty corner right here at Trey303023. And my business email inquiry is going to be right beside me. But like I said, the rest of the TJ Loves Fights video is going to be linked in the description. Let me know how y'all feel about Francis and Ngannou, switching over and going to the PFL route instead of staying in the UFC to fight, big fight names like John Jones or maybe even a Surreal Gone Part 2. But it's me, your boy Treyreactstoo, and I'm going to see y'all tomorrow with another video. Peace.